What's up, guys? Let's start off this video and read you a quote here. A hero is a goddamn stupid thing to have in the first place, and a general block to anything you might want to accomplish on your own. That is by Lester Bangs, and he is a writer, I believe, for Rolling Stone. Back in the day, he really covered a lot of the punk scene from the 70s. And unfortunately, I think I read that quote too late in life. And I think for a long time in different parts of my life, I let my influences kind of dictate my path. And this is from an early age on. Just kind of give you for instance and everything. I think like a lot of people, let's show you here, I started playing guitar because I was influenced by Eddie Van Halen. And so look at this, I made even this guitar to look exactly like Eddie Van Halen's. And so I was kind of obsessed with playing like Eddie and everything. So, and trust me, my ability is not near him. He was one of the true geniuses of rock and roll that we'll ever see. So that guitar barely plays, by the way. It's just more just for looks. But the truth is, I didn't know until years later that what's more conducive to my style and everything was actually this guitar. And I don't know if you could, probably most people don't know much about guitars, but this guitar sounds completely different than that red guitar I just showed you, that Eddie Van Halen replica guitar. This is more my style, and I didn't identify my own style until years later, just because I was obsessed with being like Eddie Van Halen. And all of a sudden it's like, and I wasn't creative in that at all. I didn't add anything to music, or not that I'm in a band or anything, or ever tried to be. I never tried to be a professional musician, but I think everyone wants to be creative in some way, and in whatever hobby or anything they choose to do. But with that, I just choose to imitate. But it wasn't until I got this black guitar, this Gibson SG, and actually put in like pickups that completely different, and that I don't know anyone who uses quite this combination and everything that I have, and have a real deep, heavy sound, and kind of created my own sound. It's really heavy, kind of surf rock type stuff, but whatever. I'm not trying to invent new music or anything like that, but sometimes it's just healthy to be able to let your mind just explore and go in its own direction. Where in the past, when I was just trying to be an Eddie Van Halen ripoff, that certainly wasn't the case. The next time in my life when I just pretty much kind of ripped off my heroes is when I decided to play linebacker, and pretty much through college. I kind of forced that upon myself almost, and I remember I always wanted to play linebacker. Like in the time I was a kid, guys, I'm trying to think. My heroes were like Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, and Junior Seau. He's kind of the next generation. Pepper Johnson, Kevin Green. Those were all my football heroes, right? So you try and be like them. They all happen to be linebackers. And when I was a kid, I wasn't necessarily a linebacker. I didn't even really play football until high school. So, but I was obsessed. Like, these are my football heroes, so I'm going to be just like them. So I'm going to be that. And the truth of the matter was, I remember like a lot of my coaches, back in the day, it's like, they try to put me like a defensive end and everything. They're like, man, you're really good defensive end. Why would you want to? Because I was like begging them to be linebacker and stuff. And then they eventually stuck me there. And listen, I was a good linebacker, I was, but I was, not sound cocky, the asshole, but whatever. Fuck it, if truth's the truth, But I was a dominant defensive end. Even my sophomore year in high school and stuff, I really, when I was playing defensive end, I got put there originally because of injuries, and I was a sophomore and going against good teams and really kicking ass, and they're like, holy shit. So, but some reason, you know, I know my heroes played linebacker, so I'm like, I really had a heart-to-heart with my coach, because he was like, listen, man, we want for your next 2 years here in your junior, senior, we want to put you at that defensive end. And I'm like, you know, I like begged him, and probably they shouldn't have listened to just put me at defense. They listened to what they saw, knowing I was a better defensive end. But you know, I begged them to go to linebacker, and they put me there. You know, and whatever. That's yeah. That's, I look back now, it's like shit, man. I really wasn't. You know, I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, I was a natural linebacker. You know, if I could play it, sure, but it wasn't my strongest thing. So whatever. But it's just because of my heroes, I allowed that to dictate what I did with my life. I think the first time this became apparent to me how fucked up it is, and when I went to like middle school, my middle school was attached to the kindergarten through, you know, the K through, you know, whatever, 5, and then by middle school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So it was like kindergarten through 8th grade, pretty much all in the same building. And I remember I ran into this guy. He was probably maybe late teens, early 20s and stuff. He was a lot younger than me, and so I was out of college, and you know, whatever. I knew who he was. His sister was like around my age, so you know, he knew. But he came up to me. He's like, man, he's like, you know, when I was a little kid, he goes, you were like totally my hero. And I tried to, you know, in basketball that is, and because we had obviously the middle school team, and I played basketball, and I was a good player then. And he's like, yeah, I loved, because you know, I used to beg my dad to take it all the games because I like watching play. And he goes, and then he told me, this is the weird thing. He's like, I even tried to, because I completely emulated your shot, and I was like, oh no. Even though I was a decent basketball player, I didn't have a great shot, okay? There's a lot of other guys I played with, even in middle school, back in this day, that had much cleaner shot than me. My shot was kind of, I don't know what, it wasn't, I didn't have much arc on the ball. It was just kind of more of a lob, but you know, I was at the time, I was like 6 feet in 8th grade, so I've only grown like an inch, you know, or so, maybe a little more, since then. You know? And I was like, oh God, you imitated my shot? I fucking hated my shot then. And, you know, I knew it sucked. And I was like horrified. I was like, oh my God, man, that's terrible. I had any type of influence and everything. And I remember who the kid was and stuff, because he kind of keep up things around town and everything. You know, he was actually, he had turned into a fairly decent athlete and everything. But man, because he tried to imitate me, I'm sure I withheld his progress. And, you know, I guess he played basketball in high school and stuff like that. And it's, you know, he was a decent athlete, but I was like, holy shit, man! If he had to get rid of my bad habits that he picked up from me, that's, you know, I kind of withheld his development. So I was like, Jesus, man! So I didn't realize how, I guess, powerful, and how, you know, a lot of times with the heroes, you just don't take their good aspects from them. You also take the lousy ones. So that was kind of like a turning point. It was kind of weird. I should thank this kid, Rich. I remember, whatever his last name, I don't know. But it was kind of like a turning point for me, because it really helped me identify, it's like, whoa, just following your heroes it's not a good thing all the time. Especially, you know, I see people do this with BJJ all the time as well. People talk about, oh, blah, 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 this person, they'll defend them to the hilt, you know, that they're the hugest fan of whoever. And, you know, and that's, I don't think it's healthy. I mean, even if they are the best of their position, stuff like that, or excuse me, at BJJ and stuff, that's not a good thing. I mean, you got to set your own course. I mean, you'll never be interesting if all you're trying to do is imitate someone. That's not the case at all. You know, take their influence, right? I mean, take the good aspects and let them be an influence. But it's having someone, any type of hero worship whatsoever. As I saw, you know, with myself, and also in that small example I gave you with that young man, or the young man at the time, obviously he's probably not young anymore, I guess, Rich, it actually, you know, can just, you know, to hold you back. And so the thing is too, it's just not, what they've done, what our heroes have done, it's already been accomplished, it's been done. Okay, there's no reason for you to come afterwards and try and redo what they did. You know, you need to take what they did and then do what you can to expand on that. There's nothing new or interesting about being a ripoff of someone else. And not that I'm ancient or anything, but I think I am in the stage of life where the thought of death actually kind of comes into your brain now and again. So I have this weird, horrible vision now of people like being at my service, and talking about my life and everything, and then they're using other people to describe me, right? It's like, oh well, just like that captain. Oh, he was so like, his rolling was like Marcelo Garcia. You know, using other people to describe me. By the way, my rolling is not like Marcelo Garcia whatsoever. But the thing is, man, I want people to describe me for me. I don't want people to describe, for someone else. It's like, oh, he was just like, I don't know, he was just like a mini Bill Gates or something like that. In another aspect, I don't want that. I don't want anyone, obviously I'm not close to that or anything like that either. But I don't want to have anyone to describe me and compare me to someone else, man. Man, fuck, we got one go at this shit, man, in life, right? So, do what you want. Obviously, take your influences. There's so many wonderful people that have done wonderful things. Just, taking that influence and just molding it and just taking the good, absorbing that, and then expanding on that, going beyond what they did, or at least, giving your best shot, and then it opens up new avenues as well. I mean, so that's all I think of it. God, man, I just wish I had this lesson when I was younger and everything. I would have made a few more smart decisions. I wish he had that. I wish he had that lesson. But anyways, guys, I see this a lot of times too, because especially reading, whether it be seeing videos or online forums and talking about BJJ. Holy shit, man! The comments, people go fucking overboard to protect their heroes in BJJ. I mean, they'll defend the indefensible. It's like they'll defend stuff. It's like you can physically see it. It's like they're defending someone who gave up some pass that they shouldn't have, and they're still defending it. It's like, holy shit, man! If you're a white belt, you could see that your hero fucked up right there. Stop defending that. But I see this all the time. And you know what? I'm no better. I just happen to be older and witnessed it myself, and so I'm not. Believe me, I was a victim of this as well. I mean, so I just got to move beyond it, man. You only got to, shit, man. I look at it. As I said before, I only have one shot at this life. I don't want to be compared to someone else. I don't want to defend someone else. I can't. How can I? Why should I defend someone else, anyways? And someone I don't know a person. Someone like, whatever, Buchecha, I love watching him roll. I could watch him video, but I'm not going to defend him on everything. Even when the very rare occasions he may fuck up when he's rolling and stuff like that. And then it becomes people defending people outside of BJJ as well, just like maybe some type of bizarre behavior, someone gets arrested and stuff, and they'll defend him to the hilt. Oh, he's innocent. It's like, I don't know if he's innocent. Why don't you just wait till the facts come out instead of just claiming he's innocent or something, in advance, right? It just, whatever. They're just, you can't defend someone else. They're another person. They're flawed. Every person's flawed. I've done so many things that, oh my God, are so horrendous, bad, things that I've done. Some things only me and the devil know about, and that's all I want people to know about, but there's other things, fuck, man, unfortunately, yeah, well, it's all it is. Got regrets. So, no one should be a hero. Just, you got to be your own self and just be the best person that you can be. Anyways, guys, I don't know why I thought of that, but just want to throw it out there. So, anyways, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. On the most part, we just talk about fitness-related things, but I think this is kind of it's a good thing to talk about. It's again, it's in everything in life these days. Whether it be probably BJJ or sewing club or whatever, people are defending authors they like it. If you're people that may have a book reading club, those type things. It's it's just gotta get beyond hero worship. So guys, subscribe to my channel. We'll talk soon. Ooosss.